3, 2, 1. How's it going, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash. Today we're talking previews. It is the DC previews for November. This is issue 19. These are soliciting comics that are on sale in January of 2020. Can you believe it's going to be 2020 already? Where is time gone? Look at on the cover here. We've got Wonder Woman 750. Wait, what? Wait, I thought Wonder Woman was like in the 50s right now. What is going on? What? Am I missing something? $10? $10. This issue will ship with 9 variant covers. You gotta be out of your mind. Written by Vita Ayala, Marguerite Bennett, Cami Garcia, Dean Hale, Shannon Hale, Jeff Loveness, Steve Orlando, he's okay, Greg Rucka, he's turned into freaking Trump derangement wackadoo, Gail Simone, God help us, Mariko Tamaki, and others. Wow. Just... It's not 750. Wait a second. I need to check something out here. Okay. Let's go. Wonder Woman. You're like, Ash, we're sick of this. Why are you taking us on this? I need to see. What is the latest release of Wonder Woman? Where is the issues? Issues. Let's go to the end. Comixology. Okay, so Wonder Woman has made it to the 80s. Okay, so it's 82. 82 is the last issue. So 83, 84. So it'll be mid 80s. And then we're going to get 750. You don't get to do this. You don't get to restart your numbering and then call it a 750. Okay? And they're doing the same thing that they did with Batman and Superman, 1940s, 1950s, 1960s. You're trying to put her in the same league, but you rebooted her numbering. Action Comics was legitimately hit issue 1000. Yes, I know Action Comics and Detective Comics redid their numbering for the stupid failed New 52, but then they went back to the original numbering before they hit 1000. And they're still in the thousands. Are we going to say that the issue after this is 751? Is that what we're doing? If you do this, DC, if you say the issue after this is 751 and you go back to the numbering, I will 50% forgive this bullshit. If you don't, this is almost as bad. Not quite nearly as bad as Marvel 1000, but it's on that same territory. And you had the mocking rights. You had the ability to point fingers at Marvel and laugh at them and make fun of them for their stupidity and how they're trying to rip off customers. Instead of you doing that and saying, look at how much better we are, we respect our customers, we treat our customers good, we respect our books. Instead of doing that, you're like, hey, let's jump on that same ship too. Stupid. Oh, Birds of Prey. Zero interest in this. Zero interest in a book that was canceled before it even launched to then consolidate into a one-shot book that's 96 pages for $10. Zero interest in this. I buy my trade paperbacks for $5. I don't want to buy comics for $10. Brian Azzarello, I don't think is that noteworthy. I think Birds of Prey is a silly, stupid concept, especially Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. This is stupid, in my opinion. Batman 86, clap warning. Oh, yeah. Woo. James Tynion the Fourth. I know it looks like Tinian. I heard him pronounce it Tynion, so I'm going to assume he knows how to pronounce his name. So that's what I'm going with. With Tony S. Daniel doing the art. DC, thank you for doing the opposite of this and doing this right. You'll notice this is not Batman #1. They could have easily done that. They could have easily been like, we're rebooting new Batman. Tony S. Daniel is a solid artist to keep this book going. This is how you try to breathe new life into a book and treat it with consistency. Treat your customers with respect. The collectors who have been investing and got you to 86 issues. People like myself who are still buying the Tom King garbage crap because I don't want a hole in my collection. I was about to cancel it, and I would have canceled it had you said you were rebooting, and I would have just waited for the #1. This is what I did with Green Lanterns, by the way. I canceled it because you said... But you said you're continuing with 86, so I continued to buy the Tom Kings so I can just have the run all the way through. I'm probably stupid for doing that, but that's how comic collectors think. At least some comic collectors. Many comic collectors, I would argue. It's still bi-weekly. Not digging that because artists can't keep up with the bi-weekly book, so then you have to have 2 artists. Even if you can manage to get 2 artists on a book that are solid, that means that's 1 less book with a solid artist. I'd rather have, say like a good Batman book with a great artist and a good Superman book with a great artist than 1 Batman book twice a month with those good artists. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, Joe Hillhouse Comics, because we need to cancel Vertigo because it was too confusing with all the different imprints. So we're going to cancel Vertigo so that we can have newer imprints that people don't recognize. I don't care about that book. Superman Heroes #1, written by Brian. What the F is this? What is Brian Michael Bendis gets a new... Oh, it's a one-shot. Brian Michael Bendis is the worst thing that's ever happened to Superman. Prove me wrong. You're the Villain, Hell Arisen, written by James Tynion. Finally, it seems like we're getting the core event book to like make sense of this whole event that's kind of become like this non-event. DC really misfired on this Year of the Villain, and I was a big proponent of it. I was, a lot of people are like, screw Year of the Villain. I was like, no, here's the good aspects of it. Here's why it's a good event. And I still think that there's really good things about it, but man, they just like delayed. It's like you needed to have at least maybe like I don't know, maybe they should have done with Year of the Villain, they should have done like a bi-monthly book to like, for 6 issues every other month, have this bi-monthly issue that like tells the core of the event. And so you can keep, you don't have to, the problem with Year of the Villain is it doesn't require you to buy all the books to know what's going on, but then you don't have a central narrative. So hopefully this is good. James Tynion's writing it. Art by Steve Epting. He's pretty good. I don't know if he's right for that book, but we'll see. Facsimile editions don't care about. Action Comics. At least, you know what? At least DC's they're $3.99. I don't know. That's still, they're a rip-off. You're paying more now for the reprint of the book than you would have paid when the book first came out. And you say, well, duh, Ash. I mean, it was like 12 cents when it came out. No, I mean, considering inflation, comic books cost more now based on the value of the dollar than they did at the time. So $3.99 for a comic book is more today than it was back then when you paid 12 cents for the book. Does that make sense? But back then you still had to pay the writer, the artist, all the stuff to create the book. Now the book is just literally a file that they just have to print. They have all the art. Everything's all put together. And they're still charging you. That should be like, I don't know, a True Believer's dollar reprint. Oh, it's amazing how they're able to do that. Anyways, Action Comics 1019, still by Brian Michael Bendis. John Romita Jr. is doing the art on this now. What the? Here come the dogs to drink and go out the doggy door and make noise. Brian Michael Bendis continues. One of my last videos of Action Comics and Superman. You just cannot believe at how bad this book is getting. It's nonsense. It's like a sitcom. It's literally, to me, it's everything that sitcoms I hate are, like Friends, Big Bang Theory, these shows. I grew up hating Friends. I never understood why people like that show. I hate Big Bang Theory. I know a lot of people like it, and you're probably going to be turned off by me saying I don't like it, but at least with those shows, they are sitcoms. They are being what they're supposed to be. Superman is not a sitcom. It's not supposed to be like Seinfeld, where nothing really happens. It's just an exercise in nothingness. That's what Seinfeld was. It was just writing about nothing. And a lot of comedies tried to copy the Seinfeld, that concept, and they borrowed elements, and it worked out really well. And for a sitcom, you can do that. Seinfeld, I love. I think it's a great, but it's a different type of medium. It's a different genre. Superman is about a character and a hero, and it's a hero story. There should be plots. It shouldn't just be random characters quipping at each other nonstop where nothing really ever happens. And I think people read that and they go, oh, this is just like the Big Bang Theory that I like, so I like this too. And it's like, I can't stop you from liking a book. I'm not going to try, but at least understand why other people don't like it. Aquaman 56, written by guest writer Kyle Higgins. Well, I don't know what he's going to be able to do. It's going to be a one-shot story of nothing that's... everyone had to drop off Aquaman because of what they did. Cecil Castellucci continues to bore everyone to death with Batgirl. Batman Beyond. Poor Dan Jurgens has been relegated to writing characters that DC's destroyed. So we don't have Terry McGinnis Batman anymore. We now have Girl Batman, which that doesn't even make sense to me. But Dan Jurgens has been like, here, make this work somehow. Like, Curse of the White Knight. Drool. Look at this badass cover. Oh, man. Sean Murphy is primo. God. Look at his... Is that Bane? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I can't praise that book enough. Batman's Grave, number 4. I reviewed the first issue. Bored. Uninterested. It's going to be 12 issues. I don't know what's going on with that book. Batman the Outsiders. I don't know if I'm going to make it this far to number 9. I don't really like Dexter Soy's art. And this story is it's just average to me. And I don't have room for average comics in my pull list. I'm already over budget, so it's like something's got to go. In order to make the cut, you got to be exceptional. And I like Brian Hill a lot. I want him to succeed. I want to love everything he does, but I'm not going to love everything just because of his name. And Batman the Outsiders, I was really excited for. I do really like this variant cover. Black Lightning looks pretty cool. But that's it. Like, yeah. Batman Superman number 6, Joshua Williamson. It's one of my favorite writers in comics right now. He writes Flash. He writes Birthright, which is over at Image. Really should check out. And this has proven to be a really solid book. The Batman Superman dynamic is fun. I normally don't like these characters together, but Scott Snyder kind of won me over. Joshua Williamson kind of continues that same take on the characters. yeah, I mean, this is going to be probably the deal breaker is whether or not you can stand the Batman Who Laughs. I know some people are just like, F this character, he's overdone. I kind of agree. I think DC would have done really well to like have Metal have the character and just let people, because people really liked the character then. It was like a really hot item, and then they should have just like went years without having him, just so people are like chomping at the bit, just be like, oh, I want to see this character again. But instead, they just like, oh, you like this character? Let's flood it out. And people are like, oh, nah, he's stupid. Too much of a good thing is never a good thing, as they say. Batman versus Ra's al Ghul. Love Ra's al Ghul. Neil Adams is a wackadoo. Yeah. Some people like it though. So if that's your cup of tea, awesome. More power to you. Catwoman 19. I think Noelle Jones is a talent. She's really visual. Catwoman is not a character I think that should have her own book. I don't think she's that type of character. I think she's a great supporting character. Detective Comics 1019, Peter Tomasi. I'm bummed here. It's Doug Mankey's not doing this, but this is what happens when you get the bi-weekly books. You can't keep the artists. That's stupid. Just go back to monthly books. Monthly books. DC, Marvel, please. But yeah, it's a killer. I love the book right now. Hopefully it stays at that. It's been doing that way for over 12 issues now. Annuals, I don't care about annuals. I don't really buy annuals anymore. I think that they're cash grabs. They're not treated the way they used to be. Sometimes they're decent, but you're paying $5. Inevitably, the annuals get collected somewhere in one of the trades, and then you can end up getting that trade for $5. And since it's not, they're usually like, they're continuity, but they're usually not part of the ongoing narrative. So it's something you could read like a year or two later and it'll be just as good. It's not like you missed out on some current event. So that's what I do. Flash forward. I'm curious to see what Scott Lobdell is able to do with this character. I think the character's kind of ruined, but I still am curious to see what they try to do, if that makes sense. Flash 86. So there you go. This is one of the better books at DC that no one seems to care about because it's just Flash, and Flash is just Flash. He's just there. But Josh Williamson has been writing. He's been writing this book for 86 issues, and unlike Tom King, he hasn't like stretched out this ridiculous storyline that never resolves, and people are tired of it. There are people, This cover looks really cool. But I'm pissed off. I hate this whole cardstock extra dollar variant bullshit. I used to buy only the variants, and then I was like, screw you, DC. Like, screw you. Freedom Fighters number 12. Cannot wait. I guess there's a little bit of spoiler here on the cover. That's kind of pissing me off, but I guess that's what I get for reading the solicits. Genlock looks kind of interesting to me. It looks like a Power Rangers-esque type story. It's from Red Rooster, not Red Rooster. How did I say that? Rooster Teeth. So I guess people who like those type of stories might be interested in that. Gotham City Monsters, zero interest, even though I like Steve Orlando. Green Lantern Black Stars number 3. This I would have been getting because I like Liam Sharp, even though Grant Morrison's kind of hit or miss. I would have been, but this is Green Lantern. This is Green Lantern. This should have been number 3. It should be 13, 14. This should be Green Lantern 15. But they canceled it, Green Lantern after 12, so that they could have Green Lantern Black Stars, so they could start the numbering. And then once Black Stars is over, it's going to reboot back to Green Lantern, so they're going to get another number 1 with Green Lantern. And this is DC starting down the road of what Marvel does of just constantly rebooting to get those number ones. They want those seasons. They want to be able to get 6 to 12 issues and then another number one. And that's just a terrible idea. Yes, I get that you get those number one sales, and that's good, but you're playing for the short term. And when businesses play for short-term gains rather than long-term gains, that's a sign of dying. Those are death throes. I don't understand DC. Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy. I could not be less interested in seeing two lesbian girls go around that are murderers be idolized by a bunch. Hawkman 20. Love Hawkman. Robert Venditti made a character that I had zero interest in. I was like, God, Hawkman is so stupid, and got me to love this character. It's become one of my favorite characters in comics. Damn telemarketers, fraudulent people trying to get me to fish for my credit card information. Anyways, what was I talking about? Hawkman. Sorry about that. What doing the screen capture on the iPad is really convenient and nice. I like doing the video stuff this way, but it doesn't have an easy like pause the way I always shoot on a camera. I could just pause at any time and continue, and it made it really easy. But now I've got to like stop the screen capture and everything and restart it. Then I got to splice it in the editing, and you don't care about this. Anyways, Hawkman definitely is a book that's on my recommends. I'm not real big on the new artist, Pat Olaf. It's supposed to be Will Conrad taking over, but I guess that didn't happen. But, you know, I can tolerate lesser art if the writing is outstanding. And Hawkman is solid, really solid. A lot of people are really pissed off that Sky Tyrant is back or whatever, and it's he's Dark Hawkman because of the whole Year of the Villain. And, you know, it sucks because I got some, you know, some different YouTubers that I follow or, you know, friends online, social media, and they're like talking about it like, oh, I'm done with Hawkman, I'm off. And I'm like, really? Like, Robert Venditti didn't build up enough goodwill to you that as soon as something slightly went south or went against what you like, you're just dump it. Like, wow. Like, to me, that's, I think a little bit differently. Like, Hawkman was so good that it has a lot of room for error for me now. Like, it would really have to F up before I'm going to just dump it. Because that's the way of ongoing comics. I've been used to that forever. When you write an ongoing comic, every single story can't be a home run. It's just not the way that it is. Sometimes you get clunkers. And you know what? It's your money. You have every right to decide how you want to spend it. And if you decide, oh, Hawkman 20 looks dumb, I'm not going to buy it. And then maybe Hawkman 21 will look good and you'll pick it back up again. So be it. But that's not how I like. I like to just keep my run going. And even if it's like 3 issues of bad, I'm still buying the freaking Batman, for God's sakes. I guess I can't cancel anything if I'm still buying Batman. But honestly, it's not bad. And the Dark Hawkman story hasn't even started yet. So that's another thing. I feel it's kind of premature. I'm going to at least try it. Like I said, Robert Venditti has won me over. His issues 1 through 12 are astounding. It's one of my favorite comics I've read since coming back into comics. It's a great story of a hero and redemption. It's got an epic finale that if they ever made a Hawkman movie, this is what it should be. It should be this, 1 through 12. If you didn't follow along, you get the trades, but be aware that first trade paperback is issues 1 through 6, but the first story arc is actually 1 through 7. So you don't get that grabbing hook at the end. So some people have read it and go, oh, it was okay. And it's like, no, you got to read that 7th issue. That's the one that like grabs you and doesn't let go. And then the second story arc is 8 through 12. It's sort of like the Return of the Jedi to Empire Strikes Back. It's like that finale. You get all the... Oh, it's good. I love it. What's going on now is recently it was an arc with the Shadow Thief, and that's kind of done. It was just, you know, an okay kind of story. And now we're going to get the Dark Hawkman, I'm very interested. Looks like they might be bringing Hawkgirl back into it and his buddies. So I have faith in Robert Venditti. I'm really eager to see what he does. Yeah, let's do this. Justice League. Right here. Scott Snyder, Jorge Jimenez. Why Jorge Jimenez is not doing the cover, I do not know. Jorge is one of the best artists in the business. And Tyler Kirkham's okay. But just do Jorge Jimenez on the cover. Sell more books. I don't do Scott Snyder, Jorge Jimenez every issue. Justice League's it's become DC's X-Men. This Scott Snyder is writing this long, epic storyline. That's the way what X-Men used to be. This big, long, big idea stories. Chris Claremont. I'm loving this. I used to be a hater of Justice League, not because I read it and thought it was dumb. I just was like, that's cornball, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, like all these characters to put together. But now I'm sold. Justice League Dark. This is James Tynion. It proved itself to me. This is another book where I was like, man, if I don't like Justice League, I really don't like this Justice League Dark idea with, Wonder Woman's in it. She's also in regular Justice League, but they got the Chimp, Man-Bat, Swamp Thing. It's got this weird cast of characters. And then I read the first couple of issues and I was like, sold. This is really good. And Justice League Odyssey is a whole different take on Justice League, and it's Will Conrad's. This is why Hawkman doesn't get Will Conrad, because this is a bigger book, at least in terms of sales. And Dan Abnett knows how to do cosmic, so DC was right to get him to take over this book when, I forget who was doing it before. It was Joshua Williamson started off this book. So it is Justice League in name, but it's not Justice League in feel. It's like a different, but it ties it together by calling it the Justice League. And they could have just called it, they could have made up some new name. It's kind of like what Titans evolved into. This is the old Titans. Not exactly, but you get what I'm saying. Titans was just sort of an unnecessary book. It didn't make any sense. It's like, wait, so you have this team that's really just like another Justice League team, but you're just not called the Justice League. Why? It's like, just call them another Justice League team. Whatever. So they did, and I like it. Legion of Superheroes. I can't stay far enough away from this, not look at this cover and cringe. Just no. This is Brian Michael Bendis. No, it's so bad. Oh, and I've been covering these books. Dan Didio doing his own book. Like, Dan Didio, doesn't this look like the guy who should be shaping DC's future? That's what I thought too. Nightwing is. Dan Jurgens is making lemonade out of lemons. This idea of Dick Grayson becoming the new Talon really kind of appeals to me. I don't know why. I mean, I know some people are going to listen to me and just be like, "Oh, Ash, you don't know Nightwing," and that's true. I really don't. But I am a fan of stories and fan of comics, and I know what things appeal to me, and I don't have to be a lifelong, scholar of a character to know what kind of works. Sometimes that can work against you. You can be too rigid in your vision of the character and go, no, it can't stray from these boundaries that I've put on them. I really love the idea of the multiple Nightwings taking over. I never liked the idea of Robin becoming Nightwing. Well, I don't say never. At first, when I thought he was evolving into a Batman-esque character, that made sense. I mean, Robin should grow up to be Batman. He's trained by Batman to be Batman, essentially. That's his influence. Boys usually grow up to be like their fathers. So Nightwing kind of made sense. But then he just really ended up just being Robin with a new name. And I was like, he should be more. Like the Jason Todd I really like as the Red Hood, because he evolved into something. He became kind of his own identity. He got away from the Robin, the chains of being Robin, and that interests me. Whether you like the character or not, that's fine. Obviously, not everyone's going to be pleased, but I'd like to see Rick Grayson. Sorry, I just called him Rick Grayson. Damn it, Dick Grayson become something more, become his own man, and this whole bullet to the head thing is a good catalyst to allow for that to happen. And I could see something like, I like the mythos of Dick Grayson being tied to the Court of Owls. I think that's really cool. That's something you can build on. That's something that also is uniquely Dick Grayson. It's not, I mean, Batman is part of Court of Owls and stuff, but not in the same way. So build on these things. And you could have, I like the Nightwings taking over and they could become a team. Dick Grayson could eventually come back and sort of like lead that team, and you could have Talon and the Nightwings. Like, that's a potential for a cool idea for a book. If they did something like that, I think I would come onto it. If that evolved, that storyline, and they really started fleshing out that mythos, and then they rebooted and started a new book called Talon and the Nightwing, even if they just continued on a Nightwing and just renamed it, I would jump on board, I think. I'm going to give Dan Jurgens some time, see if they can do something good. The question, the deaths of Vic Sage. I might check this out. I don't know much about the question, but I do like Jeff Lemire. I skipped his Joker book. Red Hood Outlaw still continues. I jumped off this. I had to cancel this book. Not because it was terrible, because it was this average. And this should be Red Hood and the Outlaws. Actually, this book should just be called The Outlaws. And it should be the Dark Trinity. It should be Red Hood, Artemis, and Bizarro, the Outlaws. I'd buy it. Want to be Punisher who doesn't want to kill because Batman won't let him. It's just so edgelord. This costume. Let's see. Shazam number 10. Jeff Johns putting out pleasing book to Shazam fans. Suicide Squad, Tom Taylor, hard pass. I'm sorry. Anything that has Harley Quinn in it needs to die, unless it's in the White Knight universe where she's good. Supergirl, people liking Supergirl, happy for him. Jodie Hauser's now taken over. See how that continues. Superman is still Brian Michael Bendis, and oh my God, is it freaking awful. We got one day later. What happens the day after Superman reveals his secret identity to the world? And what repercussions will his decision have across the entire DC universe? I know the repercussions are going to be continued loss of sales and devaluing of the brand because you're idiots. Plus, Superman, president of Earth. Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry for the cussing. Just whatever you think. Oh, Bendis can't take this, and he finds new ways. Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen continues to be cringe fest. I can't believe people look at this. Believe people look at this and say, "Oh, this looks like something I'm interested in buying." It boggles my mind. I don't. It's like we're different species of people. Teen Titans continues. Didn't they cancel this Teen Titans? I guess I don't even know. I have no interest in Teen Titans. The Terrifics, I'm so glad, even though I don't buy this, I'm so glad it's continuing. I'm a big advocate for the New Age of Heroes. Didio was an idiot to cancel it. He murdered the line. It didn't give it a chance to succeed. I don't even know why they did it. It's one of the weirdest things, one of the greatest events I've ever witnessed in comics, and is completely stabbed in the back. Every book I bought got canceled, so I told people, I was like, I'm not going to buy Terrifics because as soon as I do, they'll cancel it. So I'm afraid it's cursed. I'm glad that it's still going. I'm glad something came out of that. Titans, don't care. Batman over... Oh, these young adult graphic novels, I read the Super Sons one, and it was beyond abysmal. Like, it was, like, made Brian Michael Bendis Superman look good. They're terrible. And they are so, like, indoctrinating. These books are insidious of how they change the characters. They're all about, like, written to teach kids. They're written to brainwash kids. That's what they are. The Super Sons book was all about global warming. It was all about how girls are better than boys. Yep, believe it or not, the Super Sons were not the stars of the book. There's these two new girls that you don't care about introduced that, of course, are awesome. And I was going to do a review on it. It's like 150 pages, and it's just like, I was like, oh, no, it's just terrible. It's not even worth. It's, you know, and here we go. This is all insidiousness to get to your kids. So you go, oh, I like comics, and I want my kids like comics too. I'll get them this stuff. And just when you read it, you go, oh my God, this is all to start perverting their mind. Not in a sexual way. Just perverting their mind when they're young. Because if you can get kids when they're young and impressionable, you will make that stamp forever. And that's what they know. People really have been liking this basket full of heads. Well, or the Joe Hill House stuff. It's weird how horror comics, in my day, horror comics weren't very popular. But now they're just like, wow. It's like, how many freaking Hill House comics can there be? I feel like the ones written by Joe Hill are the ones to be interested. And then you have all these other ones, just other people writing. You're like, whatever. Let's see, I went too fast. So we got Sandman Universe. So Vertigo was canceled, just not the Vertigo comics. Now they're under Black Label because, again, don't want to confuse people. Don't want to confuse. So God help us, we're just going to do the most confusing things possible in the effort to avoid confusion. House of Whispers, John Constantine's getting rebooted again, not in Vertigo where he belongs. And then we got Last God. Oh, they finally put a label on here. We get to DC. I've been hearing some good things about this. Lucifer. I have no interest in reading a book where Satan is the protagonist, but maybe that's your cup of tea. Oh, God. No. How many Green Lanterns does there need to be? How many? And what is DC's Young Animal? Can someone please explain? When DC's Young Animal was things like this that aren't part of the continuity, okay, I can accept it. Gerard Way's, I think it's his imprint. But then now you've got a Green Lantern book. This is part of the DC. Again, we don't want to be confusing. We got to cancel Vertigo. But then we've got this super confusing thing that no one understands what it is. DC's Young Animal. Is it for young kids? Doesn't look like it. It looks like... Please, could someone please... No one has been able to explain what the hell this is. And then we got Wonder Comics. Because again, we can't have too many imprints. We need to solidify it just down to DC, DC Black Label, and DC Kids. That was the explanation. Do you remember? Remember that's why they canceled Vertigo? That was their explanation. They only wanted 3. It was simplify the line. And then now we have Wonder Comics. How many? That's Joe Hill, Young Animal, Wonder Comics, Sandman Universe. Seems like there's a lot more. It could have just been Vertigo. Young Justice. Oh, God, look at Drake. I'm still calling him Corn Turd. That's his new name. Actually, it's Corn Turd, because he looks like his costume is like, a corn turd with little corn bits in it. It's brown and yellow. It's just stupid. And then it's like they named him Drake because his name's Tim Drake. Oh, that's so clever. I'm going to call myself Drake will be my superhero name. Yeah, first of all, it sounds like you're a Canadian rapper. But second, why wouldn't you not use the concept of Drake as a dragon? Because Drake is a term for like a flying lizard like dragon instead of a duck. It's a duck. A drake is a duck. It could have been a dragon. You could have focused on Tim Drake being a badass martial artist, being a dragon. You know, dragon is often referred to as a martial arts master, not necessarily an actual mythological dragon. But you see what I'm saying? Like, you could have gone... I still think they should have just keep him as Red Robin. That's what you should. But I just argued previously about evolving the character into their own man. And being the Drake could have been interesting. We could have done this interesting, is all I'm saying. It's not inherently bad because of the Drake. It's just what they did. They made him a duck with a corn turd outfit. Long live corn turd. Oh, Absolute Fables, book 1. So here we get into all of the books. Here you can you start on the Peter J. Tomasi. This was the start of it. It was runs like in the late 994 to 999. This was a really good story. Some people didn't like it because of how it ended, but I thought the ending was very suitable because it was leading up to 1000. This was leading up to celebrating who Batman was, and it was the perfect sort of intro to that. So, yeah. White Knight Deluxe Hardcover Edition. $50? Dude, this better be still at $50? Wow. Jeez Louise. The softcover edition's like $15. Like you're charging $35 just for the hardcover? There better be something special on this. Wow. So I'm going to flip through the rest of this stuff kind of quick here. Legion of Superheroes trade paperback. Those 2 issues I did videos of. These are so terrible. Legion of Superheroes appears in one panel at the end of the whole book. This is not a Legion of Superheroes book. This was a scam, and it was a poorly written scam. And by the way, Lexus called, DC, Lexus called, and they want their logo back. Oh, man. So all these trades. Statues? Blackness? God, I'm so sick of Harley Quinn. That's interesting. Oh, I do like the Dark Knight Returns Batman. Pretty sick. So here's the there's a checklist in case you care. And there is the back cover. DC does a back cover. It's way better than the Prime cover. But, Wonder Woman. Come on. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I know this is probably pretty long. These books are long. They take a while to go through. But hopefully you get some value out of this. You're going to flip through this on your own. You get to do it along with someone else who gets to talk into your ear and talk crap about a bunch of shitty-looking comics. Hopefully that doesn't offend you. Hopefully it doesn't bother you. Look, man, if you're going to be negative about comics, it's okay. We shouldn't be tolerant about crap. We buy these comics. Well, at least some of us buy these comics. And if you're paying $4 or $5 for 10, 15 minutes of entertainment, I can buy whole TV shows. Whole TV episodes usually are like $1.99 each. Or you buy like the whole season for like $30. That's a value proposition. A Netflix membership's like $15. You get countless hours. The new DC, or sorry, not DC. The DC does have their own streaming. You get the Disney streaming. I think it's going to be like $7.99 or something. They have. You're gonna get. You're asking sometimes $7.99 for a single comic book. So these DC and Marvel are the kings of the hill. And this is the major leagues. I am not going to give them a pass for turning out crap. Now, not the prices they're charging. When I read an alternate book, if it's meh, I'm still happy because I paid $1.50. But here's the thing. I have yet to read an Alterna book that's meh. If Alterna, which is a nobody company, can publish comics for $1.50 and turn out better quality than some of these DC and even more so Marvel comics, they deserve all the criticism. But at the same time, I'm also going to be positive. If you make a comic that's awesome, if you do great writing, great art, you respect your fan base, you respect the character, the long history of the character, you show some reverence to them, I'm going to promote these books. I'm going to talk highly. I want to love comics. I'm not here to hate on comics. But I definitely feel that we need to mock and ridicule garbage at the top level. If you're some guy who made some little independent book and it's just you're just passionate, you're an amateur, more power to you. I'm not going to talk shit about your books because you're still an up-and-comer. You're trying to make it to the big league. But when you're promoted as one of the best in the business, when you're the Brian Michael business, you're the best writer to ever write in comics, some people might argue, well, you're going to get the harshest of criticism unless you turn out top quality stuff every time, because that's the league you're playing in. And if you can't play in that league, then go down to the minors, so to speak. So that's my limited baseball reference for Eric Breen. Shout out to you, buddy. I haven't talked to you in a long time, Eric. Do I have to talk to you through my videos now? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully, like I said, you got some value. Tell me what you like, what you don't like below. Also about the video, how can I do this better that you would appreciate? Can I make it shorter? Am I doing it just the right length? Whatever. Should I preview these ahead of time so that I can structure it better? Because I do these blind. I do it cold. I don't know what I'm going to get into. So that's sometimes why it takes so long, because there's no plan. I could flip through and just highlight, okay, I'm going to talk this book, I'm going to talk about that book, and I know I'm going to say, it might come off a little bit more organized, but I kind of want to have that original reaction, just like you. Hopefully you haven't seen anything either, and you're going to be like, what? So anyways, that's all I got to say. I appreciate you watching. If you made it this far, absolute props to you. Thank you very much. Let me know you made it this far in the comments. That'd be pretty great. And see if there's more than one of you. And I will talk to you next time. Thanks so much for watching.